Hello everyone, Ace here, and today we are back with another Ace Impressions, this time having a look at Ready or Not. Now, I did actually do a preview of this game a few days ago where I did show off some gameplay footage. However, it has since been recently released into early access on Steam, so I decided why not have another look at it. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, as you can probably tell, this is an old school tactical shooter in all the right ways. It can basically be best described as SWAT 5, or what SWAT 5 could have been. It is in fact made by the same guys that were behind the SWAT 4 Elite Force mod, so a pretty good start. Now, we can customize our loadout before heading out to the mission. I am in fact going to swap out my gear from light armor to heavy armor, so we should be able to shrug off some more hits, which should be useful in this particular mission because I'm going to have to be hurrying, which means I'll probably be taking a few hits. We can customize our weapons here if we really want. I am going to, by the way, be using the battering ram for this mission. There is a reason for it, because speed is going to be of the essence. But let's go ahead and actually, speaking of, select our missions. Now, there is no campaign mode yet, because this is still an alpha build, so understandable. There is also no pre-mission planning phase yet, which is, although from what I understand, that is planned to be added. So we should be able to do things like cut the power off to whatever building we're going into, so we can then use our night vision, which would be a pretty useful tactical advantage, things like that. Now, I have at least seen that in the trailer, so I'm expecting that to be in the final product, but we shall see. But anyways, we'll go ahead and select this mission. There are multiple types of missions for some of these maps. I will be selecting this one, because like I said, this is a mission where you're supposed to do it as quickly as possible, because we have to save the civilians from the bad guys. So yeah. That said, there is some good news for us. For one thing, there should only be one or two bad guys at most for this particular mission type. And in addition to that, there shouldn't really be any traps to worry about. So I can just use the battering ram, get in there as quickly as possible, save the civilians, mission complete. That is the idea. Anyways, we'll see how well it goes. Now, the good news is, now this game, by the way, is pretty brutal, I should mention. Not only in the sense that it being a tactical shooter, you can go down in only a few hits, but also in the sense that, well, some of the missions can be pretty grim. I mean, okay, that's one bad guy down with. And he had a proper long rifle. This could be an issue. Okay.
Moving and clear.
It sounds like it's coming from up here. We'll go ahead and try saving the civilians, see what we can do. There. Okay. He missed, so we were able to get him.
We lost a civilian.
We did lose a civilian, though, and one of our guys has been wounded.
Hands up. Put your hands up. Hands up.
Falling behind.
Get on the ground now.
We have to, now that we've pretty much dealt with the bad guys, we can now start restraining the civilians to secure them.
Civilians standing by for trailers.
Talk to entry team. Copy that, entry team. Notifying morgue.
Get on the ground now.
Arrest him.
Talk to entry team.
What did he have? An AR-180, okay. So both the bad guys have been dealt with, that's the good news. And I think that is pretty much it as far as this mission is concerned.
Trailers incoming.
Get on the ground now. Put your hands up.
Arrest him. Stay
Alright, we can now get the rest of the civilians safe and we should be good.
Civilian good to go for evac.
Talk to element. Copy that, entry team. Notifying trailers.
You have to rest the civilians in this.
Put your hands up.
Okay, there we go. Sometimes the civilians or the bad guys can be less than compliant, so you have to
Secured.
smack them with your firearm to get them to comply or something like that. Doesn't happen that much, but something to keep in mind.
Civilians standing.
You have other stuff too to do that, like pepper spray, but yeah.
Affirmative, entry team.
But yes, is this game worth the asking price? Honestly, I gotta be honest, even with it being an alpha, I still think this game is worth the asking price. There is co-op, so proper PvE as well, which is nice.
Hands up above your head.
This is talk. Copy that.
Restrain
Trailers
targets.
incoming.
Okay, let's see if there's any more civilians here to protect. Pretty good on the magazine, so...
Talk to
Concentrate
element.
on me.
Copy. Move on.
Alright, so I think we've got most of the civilians in the area cleared, but just to be safe, we'll check these rooms here. I like how it even shows damage on the door from the ram.
Hands up above your head.
Yeah, so it is still an alpha, so the cuffs can be a little bit wonky on how they're animated, but that's fine.
Back.
This is
Okay,
talk.
looks like we got civilians there secured. So I think what's left is really to
Hands up. Drop your knees.
make sure that there's no more civilians to worry about in these areas. There's a civilian there.
See hands.
I'll have them restrained,
Restrain targets.
and we'll go ahead and smack this just to be sure that there's nothing. Yep.
Police, get down.
Don't fucking touch me, okay?
Stay quiet.
All right. So we did lose a civilian, but it looks like
Arresting me.
Talk to
Civilian
entry
cuffed and
team.
ready for trailers.
Great job.
yep, mission complete. Yeah, a B, which is alright, I suppose. So, yeah, is it worth the asking time? And also, it's actually my personal best, too. Interesting. So, is it worth the asking price? I would say yes. Granted, it is, I understand, it is still an alpha build, so there's still going to be problems. But this is honestly a lot more polished than some of the AAA's games that have been fully released this year, so... Honestly, in fact, I would even take it a step further and say that this is more polished as an alpha than any of the AAA games I've seen released this year. But to be fair, though, this has been a pretty bad year for AAA games, so take that as you will. Again, there's still some features that need to be put in, and they're like the campaign and what have you, but even as it stands now, this is a game where I think that it would actually be worth the asking price. So, yes. In any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.